and kind of just AFK the lane and just really make it non-interactive. But now that that champion's kind of fallen out of favor, we have seen him result to champions like the Ezreal, which are still safe, but not as safe as champs like Senna, and not as hyper scaling as champs as Senna. Where back in the day, like Suin Baboon on Senna, he would get like 70 stacks of his passive and still be able to apply so much healing, so much damage, just overall control. But as we move into the draft for AOE God Squad, Glaive Esports Rose, we are a little bit late, but the picks are coming in through strong.
Yeah, taking a quick rundown through the bans. AOE God Squad not wanting to give Miho his Comfort Aurelia pick, naturally going to ban that away in the first phase. And Tutamax is going to be missing that Casio. And even Issei's Galio that we saw really pop off last week is going to be taken away. And now here is the champion discussion. Gunjin, this we should have really seen this a mile away coming. We have Kiba on the Kaisa and Beastlance. Maybe Idea will be requesting a card change to be made to the Race to the Playoffs board game, because we have the Kalista Comfort locked in. This is what all those games have boiled up for, Gunjin. The upset against Glaive, Beastlance. This is your moment, my guy.
I love Beastlance's Kalista. I think he is a AD carry player that is willing to put hundreds and thousands of hours onto a terrible champion like Kalista. I love that champion. I think she does super well in the lane phase. My biggest problem with this champion is that if you can't execute cleanly in the mid game, once the late game starts, it is so hard for her to deal with champions like Shen, like Hecarim. Honestly, any tank, any bruiser, any mid laner, anything, honestly. The fear with Kalista is that if you can't play it perfectly, you end up getting outskilled. So like, and then that problem becomes like, do you want to invest so many resources into a champion that eventually just loses? That's the fear that I have. And again, Beastlance can pilot it as best as anybody can, and I will trust Beastlance's opinion in this matchup. But my fear is Kiba has looked so dominant in the 2v2 with especially this Kaisa pick. Why are you even daring this guy? You're like, you've beaten everybody else in the. It is like the anime trope where it's like, you've beaten all of my friends, but I'm built different. I'm gonna beat you this time, and it's just like, come on, man, just ban it out. Just one ban. The Galio's not gonna really affect you that much in the bot lane. Let's just ban out the Kaisa, but we are gonna see the Kalista Kaisa matchup, so maybe Idea PC can be redeemed finally for the Kalista choice.
Yeah, looking as the second phase of bans do unfold, it seems like Glaive Esports did actually want to lock in that rel here for Red 4, but it looks like AOE God Squad have actually been able to snuff it out based on the Alistar and Seraphine bans, and it's a huge question mark now, right? What is Issei gonna lock in? And it's gonna be the Leona Kaisa duo going into Kalista and support that's to be determined. Gunjin, who are you thinking AOE God Squad might lean on?
In terms of overall laning, they could end up picking something like the Thresh. It does do well into the Leona.
Thresh got banned.
Thresh is banned. Well, I think Glaive Esports kind of pulled that idea out of my head. So Morgana is a pick that can, again, it does similar to what Thresh does. It is a pick. It does have a spell shield. It can keep the Kalista safe. The fear is, how long can Morgana's shield last when there's so much magic damage that Kaisa and Leona output? And Leona's all-in doesn't have to be kind of forefronted. She can E onto you, even if it doesn't end up stunning you. She's just on there waiting for that Morgana shield to run out and then just stun you right afterwards. The Sylas pick coming out from AOE God Squad, that's going to be interesting for the mid lane right there. Blinding it as well, which we haven't seen in a long time.
There have been a lot of mages already taken off of the board. That is Tutamax's preference. That signature Orianna, the Cassiopeia taken away as well. I wonder, maybe Twisted Fate, not banned, but a pretty common Sylas counter pick. Wait, actually, it's the other way around. Definitely, Mac was a little off on that one. It is going to be the Rise, though, to go up against the Sylas. That would not be countering yourself like Mac would have there if he was Glaive Esports. And giving Tutamax this kind of hyper carry could really be fun to watch. Rise is very much in his, I feel like, wheelhouse of champions that he can kind of pilot on the Rift.
Yeah, and the 1-3-1 that Glaive Esports have is really strong because Shen's overall split pushing, Rise's kind of like side lane dominance as he kind of scales into the game, and then you have such a good core of global ultimates with the Rise, obviously, the Shen ulti as well, so a lot of map movement can be involved by Glaive Esports Rose. On the side of AOE God Squad, though, this comp needs to get off the ground early, and they need to execute well. Because in terms of overall scaling, I give it to the side of Glaive Esports Rose. In terms of overall ease of execution, I give it to a Glaive Esports Rose. So it is going to be up to the Olaf to really get the early game going. And the Gnar does have a little bit of bully threat on the Shen, but in terms of the matchup, it kind of is just a wash. The mid lane matchup is going to be kind of the matchup where I think is going to be the most volatile.
Yeah, this Sylas Rise, whether or not AoE God Squad are going to decide to give attention to that mid lane is going to be the big question, as both of these junglers, Mixed Shoots going up against AoE God Squad, is going to have to try to play aggressively on this Heck Room to try to look for some lane advantages, and he has a lot of options, a lot of gank setup. Looking at that Rise easy snare, point and click, you couldn't miss it. Onto the Sylas, as well as the Leona and the Shen. Mixed Shoots, you could really pick and choose whatever lane you feel like ganking, my man. You've got a lot of setup available to you.
There's a lot of setup, but you know exactly what lane both of these junglers are going to be running it down first. It's going to be the bot lane.
It has to be.
It's going to be the bot lane. And again, there's all this talk about, like, what can the side lane do? What can Rise mid? What can the volatile matchup? It's going to be the bot lane. Both of these teams are... You like my little shake? You look at my little dream shake right there as I get so excited.
Dude, I was doing it too. I wasn't even... That was just pure synergy between us.
Look at that synergy. We have the connection. We don't even look at each other.
That was just too easy. That was like a layup right there for us. You know, it's not really a big deal.
But we know what both of these teams are going to be centered around. This is what they play around. Beastlance is the carry for the side of AoE God Squad. As much as Sharp Circle and Mouse Scout and Flaming Thunder do add to it, Beastlance, when you pick a champion like Kalista, you have to get ahead early. So that's going to be the focus for Mouse Scout. And for the side of Glaive Esports Rose, Kiba is so dominant in every single 2v2 we've seen. Why would you not help this lane out? And Mixed Shoots has been doing that perfectly. When we saw the matchup of Glaive Esports Rose versus, I believe, Legendary Wolves, you saw the amount of attention they paid attention to Epic Fail Guy. And Beastlance, I would say, is similar onto that level with Epic Fail Guy. They're top tier 80 carries that you want to shut down, and so Mixed Shoots is gonna have a field day in that bot lane. I promise you that.
Yeah, once again, we'll have to see if one of the ADC rookies, one of the up-and-coming names, Beastlance, Epic Fail Guy, to name a few, are they going to be able to step up to the veterancy of Kiba in that bot lane? So far, nobody has been able to handle the return of the Glaive Esports ADC. He's been feeling himself, especially on this Kai'Sa pick, and with something really aggressive in the bot lane to go along with that, the Leona pick that we kind of glossed over is really kind of what exactly we would expect from Glaive Esports going into what they pretty much consider all games. Hey, they're wanting to play aggressive 24/7, 7 days a week in the bot lane.
And a person I really want to point out in terms of, and the person that doesn't really get too much attention just because his scoreline's not going to be too flashy, is Issei. I think he's been playing super well ever since Kiba came back into that bot lane. The synergy that they had almost instantaneously was kind of amazing to watch. And just overall playmaking with Mouse Scout around the map has just been really good for the side of Glaive Esports. And so I'm really excited to see what sorry, not Mel Scout, Mixed Shoots. I
didn't want to point it out, but
no, you're fine. I noticed it. I was like, this doesn't sound right. With Mixed Shoots and Issei, have been really excited to see it. It's honestly been due to Kiba kind of unlocking the bot lane, and Issei now more favoring those engaged supports. And both of their wins versus Meme City Esports, you saw the Galio lock-in, which was something we saw as well against the Legendary Wolves bot lane, where he just kind of dominated them. And then we saw a Blitzcrank being locked in as well. So, like, just running around, making engages, making things happen is kind of what Issei's been doing. And I really look for to him and Mixed Shoots to really make this early game for the side of Glaive Esports.
And looking just a little bit, glimpsing into the future for this mid game, something I kind of want to get your thoughts on potentially what we'll look for kind of God Squad to try to play around this. It's going to be really difficult to. Granted, this idea of the Shen Hecarim combo, I want to point it out because I know we're going to be seeing Glaive Esports try to run it for their big engaged fights around the third dragon, around even maybe the second dragon once everyone gets level 6. The ability for the Hecarim to just run in full speed, turbo chem tank, he's gunning for the backline, and to have the Stand United, to have the extra team member immediately right on the Hecarim, right where the ADC or the mid laner is very likely going to be, is going to be so huge for Glaive. So Gunjan, the kind of predicament that I want to kind of thought experiment this one out. What is God Squad going to be able to try to do around that?
For that combo specifically, I think it's going to be all on to Jabber to try to maybe land some sort of Morgana binding, or just kind of throw himself in front to try to put enough pressure and CC with maybe the Morgana Soul Shackles to try to dissuade any jumping in. That's the fear, though, because you can get a lot of flanks with Rise, with Hecarim being so fast as well, that Beastlance is going to have such a headache to deal with. And that's always, as much as I respect how well he does on this champion, that's always my fear as the game goes into that mid-game point. There's just so much issues that Kalista faces as just a champion, dealing with Shen, dealing with Hecarim, dealing with Rise. When she gets slowed by Hecarim's chem tank, she is slowing her attack speed and her movement ability. It is so, she gets so gimped by just CC slow damage. It's gonna be hard, and so like it is gonna be an uphill battle for Beastlance to kind of play around these team fights because there's so much threat. But if there's anybody that can do it, it's him. He's put in the thousands of games that you need on Kalista to make this work, and I want to see what he ends up doing, especially as the mid games, like you mentioned, because it's gonna be a fast and wild one with this Hecarim Shen combo.
Well, that's going to do it for the draft. Thank you, Gunjan, for helping me out with the draft analyst. It's going to be a really exciting match, I think, for our second set of the night. Glaive Esports going up against AOE God Squad. Two teams looking to really stamp themselves into the conversation as serious title contenders. Can AOE keep the upsets rolling? They went 1-1 versus Meme City Esports. Let's see if they can keep the momentum rolling. Don't click out of that browser. Idea and Stone are going to be with you guys on the Rift. They'll be back in a bit.
Dying to know where you came from. We're breaking open. Feel like your future's just begun. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together. Just lead me into your world. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together on our own. Just lead me into your world.
We're back, Stonefeld. Excellency midweek. Mid-league, midweek. Week 8.
It's both of them things, isn't it? Midweek. I like it. New catchphrase.
AOE God Squad going up against Glaive Esports Rose. You know, we already beat the heck out of a dead horse here, and yeah, you know what? AOE they did beat Meme City. Super fun, and now they're looking for that level 1 invade. So kind of exciting to see here pretty early on. Obviously, you've got the Dark Binding forming Morgana. So hey, everybody F in the chat for the ward. Rest in peace. We'll go down here, but in all honesty, watching the end of that game, we got a lot out of the Meme City and AOE broadcast. For those that did not watch it, we got a pentakill out of MCE Rutledge, a Baron steal from Beast Lance on the Jinx Rocket from across the map. A lot of exciting stuff, to be perfectly honest with you. So I have no doubt that AOE God Squad's feeling pretty good after that win against the top team in the league, and it'll be kind of exciting to see what they are going to have to put up against Glaive.
I love the energy that all of the teams in this league are bringing toward the end of the split.
Hold on, there it is. Dark Binding gonna land onto Leona. That's gonna be the chain CC coming in here. Issei in some trouble, and First Blood, the big brain moves coming out here from AOE. They're gonna be able to get themselves that blue buff here on the bottom side as well. Nicely done, nicely played here by AOE God Squad.
Oh, but now Kiba's in a bit of a pickle. Doesn't really know how to get to lane.
Yeah, honestly, going to have to play relatively passive for that one there. Is going to
Throw
run
it all
into
off here.
Melscout. Yeah, gonna take a little bit of damage too here as well. It's gonna get slowed down. Actually, could be in some trouble. It's gonna have to flash out. Wow, huge gains here for AOE God Squad early on in the game. Kiba gonna be under some pressure here, sitting at about half health. We'll have to pop the potion most likely. Yep. Good thing he's got the biscuits though there in his inventory to try and maintain at least a little bit of health in the lane. But definitely a rough start here for the Glaive Esports bottom lane.
Yeah, now they're getting shoved in by this Callista. She hasn't bought yet, so she doesn't have a ton of damage.
Oh my gosh.
Just yet, but oh goodness, the Callista early game. And as the analyst desk was talking about, Beast Lance, very good at this champion, very practiced, getting all of the damage off, maximum damage there in that trade. And a little bit of pressure being put onto Glaive's bot lane here, which we haven't seen since the addition of Kiba.
Yeah, honestly, it is definitely a matchup to look out for here in the bottom lane, but kind of an interesting one at that. Melscout now, though, here in the mid lane, that's going to be Sharp Circle, unfortunately missing the chains. Melscout, though, running as fast as he can. McShoots, though, in the wing, will be able to find Sharp Circle out. He will go down, and that's going to be a kill for McShoots as he's trying to run down Tutamax. Will be able to trade at least 1-for-1, but it could be a 2-for-1 here, but double kill now here for the Hecarim early on. You know, we've seen these Hecarims be able to run away with these games, and getting 2 kills here early on this Hecarim, definitely a good sign of life. Flash forward, will miss the chains one more time. Sharp Circle, not able to make it happen, and he's going to have to disengage off of that one. Flash expended.
Having to take sort of the scenic route home there, but a really good pathing option. He ran into the bush there. It just said, surprise, I'm here too. It picks up the double kill. Takes a little bit of a jaunt down toward the bottom lane to get out, and actually lives, even though that flash would have, if the
but
hits, it would have.
We do have a roam. We do actually have a roam here coming out. We do see Issei and McShoots here towards the middle of the map, obviously. Sharp Circle going to be able to spot that one out and move his way on over to avoid that. But already early roams coming out here. Both teams kind of taking every single swing that they could possibly at each other here in the early game. Definitely lots of threats to look out here for on Summoner's Rift. But Stone, I do want to talk about that first game that we casted of the night. We did see a Hecarim versus Olaf matchup, and it was pretty well one-sided in favor of the Hecarim after getting some early kills. So we'll have to wait and see if we will kind of have a repeat of that. I would say that luckily here, Melscout was able to get himself a kill, so he was able to at least get a little bit of gold. You know, is sitting on the pickaxe right now, so his clear will be a tad bit faster for the moment being. But McShoot's definitely going to be looking to get that back off, and we'll pick up the early Sheen and boots.
Yeah, and we're seeing a different build coming out from the Hecarim here. In the previous 2 games, we saw the Chem Tank coming out, which I thought was very smart, and it actually helped in a lot of situations. So maybe teams are realizing that Hecarim can fall off, or maybe McShoots just wants to build full damage into the squishier side of AOE God Squad.
Yeah, a little bit of engage though there in the mid lane. Sharp Circle going to be trading back pretty effectively against Tutamax here, who is currently running a little bit low on mana. So going to be looking to try and find a window to back here shortly, I would imagine. But yeah, Mountain Dragon going to be the first one here up and on the table. Sharp Circle trying to clear out some of this vision, and Tutamax trying to get that recall off here. Should be interesting though. We might see a little bit of a contest here for the Dragon. That is the Morgana. Jaber going to be able to rotate up here early and quickly here, and should be able to deny Mix Shoots and Issei any kind of engage. 4 members against 2. 3 if the Kaisa does able to come up here in time, but overall kind of a difficult situation. Issei, though, going to take the Blast Cone over the wall. Could be in a little bit of trouble, but now Rise has arrived onto the back line, getting some damage off, but quickly, Sharp Circle just going to go straight on down. Kill going on over to the support. The Realm Warp going to be able to cut out the rest of this AOE squad. Nice Dark Binding, though, will be able to buy them the time they need to get on out to safety.
Just a little bit late on the rotation from the Rise, who based there, but TP'd back in the middle lane, picked up the CS, and then Glaive Esports going full send into the bottom lane. It's still down here, even though this Kalista is chunking out the Leona a little bit.
Yeah, definitely strong here. Going to be sitting on the 2 sets of longswords, so not bad damage here early on into the game. But Flaming Thunder going to get caught in the rotation now. We'll be able to hop, skip, and a jump there over the wall. Should be perfectly fine here in this one. Does have the level 6. Miho, though, still waiting for that Stand United to come on through, but should be able to get that one here shortly. And once those ultimate options start unlocking on the map, I do expect Glaive Esports to, put the pedal to the metal here and, kind of take it up even more of a notch than they are already. That first Dragon, though, did go in favor of the AOE God Squad, so that does bode well. They will be able to take those resistances with them throughout the game, and I think additionally you get a lot of value being able to deny that from champions like the Shen and the Leona.
Yeah, tanking up here with the Mountain Drake is going to be a pretty big deal. And I look for Glaive to start grouping up around these objectives so we see a fight in the top lane.
Yeah, the Nar comes on out, and Miho gonna be a little scary here. Gonna be sitting about half HP, but has a couple of those potions refillable pots to be able to get himself back up. Jaber, though, gonna be face checking here. Dark Binding not gonna quite find its mark. Big shoots with the ghost. He's gonna go right on in, and that's gonna be Jaber down and out here early on into the fight. Sharp Circle now caught himself in a 2v1 in some trouble, and can he get out? That is the question we have to ask ourselves. No, he cannot. 2-9, able to pick that one up and put another kill here on the Rise. Hecarim starting to run away a little bit with these early games against these Olaf matchups.
Yeah, and what a game to cast. We can't even finish a point before there's even more action. Hecarim just going lane to lane. Hecarims today have been always in the right place. I wonder if it has something to do with how fast they are. I don't know. Could just be me. But yeah, right time, right place for the Hecarim yet again. And Sharp Circle got caught out there with nowhere to go. Sharp Circle did take the Stand United from the Shen, and I wonder if he's going to try and make a play with that, although his wave is being pushed into him here in the middle lane. And the Stand United is also up for the actual Shen in the top lane here for Miho. So I think we're just going to see more and more fighting. This game's been fast-paced so far, and I don't see either of these teams wanting to let up. They want to try and extend the lead that they have or even catch up.
Okay, there it is. Stand United going to be coming on in. That's going to be the Silas here. They're trying to find Kiba, but it's answered right on back, and AoE Beastlance just goes down before he can really do anything about it. Sharp Circle took himself a Stand United to death, and that's going to be 2 kills going on over towards the bottom side of the map. Kiba going to be able to pick up one of those, and, honestly, you're feeling pretty good at this point. Yeah, you've been able to pretty much dominate this early game. You've had better rotations. McShoots is absolutely fed out of his mind here. There's not really a whole lot stopping you at this point.
Yeah, look, Sharp Circle needs to realize that when you steal an ultimate from somebody, you don't actually steal it. They still have the cooldown. The Shen coming into that fight with the flash taunt being a bit more useful. And then McShoot's actually covering the wave in the top lane. Gnar, uses the combo there, but McShoot's did what he needed to do. He's got 60 farm to the Olaf's 55 and 4 kills to boot. Which puts him in a way better position to carry this game, which makes me like this build from him a little bit more. The Sheen, the damage, as opposed to the Chem Tank that we've seen in other situations. You're 4-0-2, you got a 400 gold bounty, run lane to lane and kill them, as we see teams starting to prep for a Drake and something here in the middle lane.
Yeah, not quite able to make it land though. Chains will miss. The slow will not come out from the axe, and the dark binding will go wide. But we see those on the way pings, and a lot of these engages, the CC has not landed. I mean, AOE God Squad just have been missing those critical skill shots that they need to kind of set up these engages. And it's not boding well. If you're not able to get these kinds of advantages or these kinds of picks when you do expend the resources of your time by sending those champions to those lanes to try and make something happen, you lose out on experience. You lose out on time being in lane. You lose out on that passive gold. So, all these kind of small things right now have occurred into a 3.5k gold lead right now for Glaive Esports Rose, as AOE God Squad here in the early game kind of finding themselves on the back foot.
Yeah, and a huge part of that gold lead is coming off of this mid lane. Totomax on the rise here, able to continually push in that lane. Silas has gone for a few roams, and it's been punished heavily with Totomax taking farm, taking plates, and still being able to dish out that damage like a Rise can do.
Yeah, absolutely. We will get Ocean Soul this game, so my bingo card rejoices. Unfortunately, though, I'm still missing a few more for bingo, so gotta have to wait for those ones out to come on through. But overall here, not gonna get too much off that dark binding. But I just do want to say, like, AOE, they're still absolutely in this game. Anything can happen. Still pretty early on, but a nice flash actually coming out from here from Issei. But Beast Lance with the return damage, pretty dangerous actually. It's gonna get stunned up. There it is. Gonna come on out with the Fate's Call. With the heal coming on through. Issei in a little bit of trouble. Kiba, though, trying to go for the kill and the return onto Jaber. But it's going to end up being only low health bars and no kills going on over. Kiba, though, with a massive health advantage, does kind of put Beastlands and Jaber in maybe a bit more of a precarious situation.
Yeah, that was a lot of moving around, a lot of shucking and jiving from both sides of the bottom lane here just for no kills to happen. Both ADCs really confident on their champions. Which is, I think, what we're seeing here. And here we see Kiba just walking up. Like Kiba does. Oh my goodness! And a little bit of a taunt there to boot.
He's just dead. I mean, absolutely nothing that you can do about it here. Mel Scout not able to find the slows there with the axe and Beast Lance. Unfortunately, I would have to go back and see if the flash was up, but you might just use it there. You might just use it. McShoot's, though, gonna come and visit himself down towards the bot lane this time around. Olaf able to trade back one, but it will be 2 kills going on over the way of Glaive Esports Rose. Kiba and McShoot's able to pick up 1 and 1 each. This Hecarim now 5-0-3. Stone 5-0-3. Absolutely strong.
Yeah, the Hecarim just gets to run the map at this point. As fast as can be, going from lane to lane, picking up kills, right place, right time. And yeah, a little bit of struggling from AOE God Squad here. I'd like to see them make a play, use the Snar. It looks like the Silas is moving to the top side of the map. But
Beast Lance, though, maybe going to be in a little bit of trouble. Kiba, though, caught in a hawk in a hard place here. Teleports coming on through. They're able to kill her off before the Stand United is able to land. And that's going to be 2 kills going on over. Shut down here for Beast Lance. And that's going to be some much-needed gold in the pocket of this AOE 80 carry.
Yeah. Beast Lance saying, you know what, we're not out of this just yet. I can play this champion. You can't dive me over and over again. You need to base for items at some point in time. So yeah, the bottom side is just an absolute just fight. The top side of the map, this Gnar is sort of staying even with Shen. But I'd like to see him get more involved in some of these team fights. It's very difficult when Shen can just leave. Shen has teleport, and the Stand United can just leave the lane basically at any time to get to a play.
Oh no. Beastlance, though, here, going to get caught out. The Rise does have the Realm Warp available. We'll be able to use it here. Unfortunately, not able to get that recall off here in time. And Beastlance just going to get stunned up and CC'd consistently here. Kiba, though, there it is. Going to be coming on in with the Acathian Rain off the back of the Killer Instinct. Able to find and land that kill. Beastlance feels bad, man. A couple more seconds, you may have had it there, but unfortunately, going for those last couple minions will end up resulting in your death.
Yeah, absolutely. Kiba coming in there to secure the kill. Beastlance maybe just pushing a little too much as we see junglers fighting over a red buff here. the Olaf saying that, you know what, you may have 5 kills, but I'm still Olaf.
Very true.
If you really want to fight me in the jungle 1v1, we can make that happen. If you don't have time for burst damage, then, you know, it's not going to work out for you.
Yeah, and actually off the back of that pressure up towards the top side of the map and a nicely timed roam, Sharp Circle, Melscow, and Flaming Thunder going to be able to get themselves the first tower of the game for the AOE God Squad here. But unfortunately, mid lane under quite a bit of pressure, actually. Max and Kiba looking to knock down the tier 2 tower in the mid lane here very, very early on. This really gives up so much pressure on the map. Glaive Esports Rose can pretty much navigate throughout this jungle freely. Take the camps they want without really a whole lot of fear of not knowing where this God squad is. Smellscout, though, going to be running on in there. Does not have the Ragnarok. Cannot be contained. Sharp Circle, though, going to be here on the back line trying to find Kiba, looking for the fight, but is going to get knocked on down. One more auto. The Void Seeker finds its mark. Flashing over the wall. Jaber going to be killed by the Acathian Rain. And Kiba here, absolute monster with a double kill outplay.
Yeah, Kiba does this every single game where it's like, oh, Kiba's like doing okay, or maybe we're putting a little bit of pressure. All of a sudden, he's got 6 kills. He's 6-1, absolutely sniping the Silas there, and carrying the fight when it comes down to it, which is exactly what Glaive needed. That fight looked like it was going to go the side of AOE God Squad until Kiba showed up and started, you know, dishing out the damage as Kai'Sa can do, especially a 6-kill Kai'Sa. And now they're going to turn their eyes toward this Ocean Drake. Hecarim running in, and Kiba still taking that, which is just going to put them a little bit closer to that 4 Drake Soul win condition.
Absolutely, indeed. Kiba, man, you know, he's really got the trash talk to back it on up here. Sharp Circle, though, going to find the back end of that Zenith Blade, and Mick shoots here way too fast. The auto's going to come on through, and, you know, one more Q will do it. Hecarim going to be able to land himself his 6th kill of the game here in the bottom lane. Unfortunately, there's just so much power that comes out of having a champion that is this fast. When you're able to combine that with the lockdown and the CC that comes out from a champion like Leona, pretty much guarantees that you will be able to find those kills if you are overextended on a map that has so many outer turrets down. There's not really a whole lot of safe space here for this AOE God Squad to be able to push up in these lanes without the fear or the threat of Hecarim being able to come in with these ganks.
Yeah, and we didn't necessarily get a good look at it there, but at the same time, the Rise was also fighting Olaf Melscout in the jungle on the top side and picked up a kill there. So not only is Hecarim 6-2 and Kai'Sa 6-1, but now this Rise is 3-1. The amount of damage that Glaive can put out is just insane. And I'd like to see this Gnar get into the game a little bit, but I feel for Flaming Thunder here because the game is moving so fast. It just doesn't feel like you have time to get a good teleport play off or to fill up your Gnar bar or to be the right objective at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even then, that being said, both top laners here maybe having a little bit of trouble getting into these fights and finding those engages here. Lowest KP in the game. Can't really blame them, though. They do play that solo lane and oftentimes do rely on that global presence to be able to make plays across the map. But Rift Herald going to be started up here by McShoots. Should be a pretty easy one there to secure. Stand United up for Shen and teleport up for Flaming Thunder. I do not think that we will see an engage here. AoE God Squad just knows that they are currently at this point weaker in the matchup. But there it is. The Chain CC comes on out. Not quite able to find the Solar Flare. Otherwise, that might have been curtains there for Sharp Circle. But Kiba jumping in with Killer Instinct always can be scary, especially when you're sitting here on 2-item collector Kai'Sa. Acathian Rain, though. Sharp Circle going to be dangerously low, and he's going to get taken out by the Hecarim. Hecarim now coming right back on in with the Onslaught of Shadows as Olaf tries to charge through the backline, but it's just not going to be enough. Kills going every which way, and it's absolute domination, absolute decimation here for Glaive Esports Rose.
Yeah, Glaive Esports, they're saying turret, no turret, we don't care, we're fighting. We're going to fight for this entire game, and we're going to beat you in all of them. Just diving under the turret, not caring there. Hecarim jumping onto the Silas there. And now the Rift Herald is, shoving down on the top lane. And what do you do if you're AoE God Squad? Every time it feels like you've made a play to get out, Glaive just find another engage, or find a re-engage on you.
And it just keeps coming back down to what I was saying before. You do not have a whole lot of vision in your jungle. You also don't have a whole lot of safety. You have one outer turret here at 20 minutes in the game, which means your entire jungle is going to be constantly fought over for vision control, and it results in situations exactly like this. I mean, you just have this kind of disjointed, meandering through the jungle. I really don't know how else to say it, from AOE God Squad. And Glaive Esports has so much control. They can stack up, they can have a numbers advantage, and find these picks when they want on their own terms.
Yep, as we see, okay, Hecarim resets here on this timer. It was an option there if they saw it for AOE God Squad to try and take a fight after the Hecarim reset. But I don't think that vision, just like you said, they didn't really have a lot of vision pushing out here. I don't think they saw it and they just assumed that Kiba had the entire team behind him, and they just back off.
Yeah, not really a whole lot that you can do in that situation, and AOE God Squad going to go back and continue farming up in these lanes as they definitely need to. I mean, you're sitting here right now, 8K behind here, 21 minutes into the game, and Glaive Esports Rose just looking like an absolute dominant force. Generally speaking as well, I mean, Rise tends to scale very, very well into the mid to late game, as does Kai'Sa. Both of these champions sitting on some pretty powerful item spikes. Rise there with the Seraphine's Embrace, Kai'Sa with the Collector, as I mentioned earlier. All of these items just very, very strong, and I mean, if I do remember, actually, Seraphine's Embrace is the highest AP scaling item in the game. It gets you the most bang for your buck the longer that these games go on. But now, Kiba going to be in some trouble, but going to be absolutely shredded down as Mel Scout just cannot quite find it. Beast Lance, though, in a little bit of trouble. Nice flash taunt, though, coming out here from Miho as they're able to put Beast Lance in the dirt under his own mid lane tier 3. And that's going to be Glaive Esports picking him an easy 2 kills in the mid lane, now threatening inhibitor.
Yeah, every single idea the AOE God Squad has been answered by Glaive Esports. A really, really good showing so far. A good objective control and good job making sure that they don't even have a chance to 50-50 these objectives. You can't even get near them.
Oh, that's going to be nice chain CC, and that's going to be Flaming Thunder just going instantly down. Towers are actually in danger here. They could be looking for the end. I mean, Nexus Tower 1 will fall. The second one surely to follow here after the minion waves get cleared on out. Jaber, though, going to be able to land a dark binding there onto Issei. He'll go down, keeping out into some trouble. Overextended. Shen going to go right back in, but only to his death. Let's make it a triple kill here for Beast Lance as they're trying to hold on.
Yeah, let's see if Glaive Esports is going to try and take this Drake before AOE God Squad can even get there. But here comes...
Oh, the teleport. Yep. Teleport coming on in. That's going to be Sharp Circle, and that's going to be the ultimate stolen. He's going to go straight onto Totemax, but will not find the fear. Does he have the damage? Does he have the healing there? He will go golden, picks up the shutdown, and the rest of the God Squad is here to save the day. Ace for AOE God Squad, and the Ocean Dragon is their prize.
Yeah, Glaive Esports with a little bit of an overstep there, overstaying, thinking, I wonder if the comms were mixed up. Can we end? Can we not end? Should we just peel for the Drake? And then McShoops is trying to save, just McShoops and Totemax trying to save, the misplay and going for the Drake, getting punished. And this is exactly what AOE God Squad needed to get back in this game.
Absolutely is. I mean, they're able to close out a little bit of that gold lead. Granted, yes, I know. They are still 6K gold behind, but at this point, anything that you can take off of the map here from Glaive Esports Rose does help you out. Being able to pick up that dragon, absolutely instrumental here. You get a little bit of that passive healing that comes up off of that, just naturally by having it. But additionally, you really delay the timing here. Jaber, though, gonna find the Void Seeker to the face. Kiba just gonna go right on in with the Killer Instinct, and he's gonna get popped there as the passive stacks right on up. Support down here for AOE, and Kiba just absolutely, as the ultimate would suggest, having that Killer Instinct here in game number 1. Another engage here. McShoots over the top there is going to be able to find 1 and 2. Picked up by Kiba as he will get the kill credit for those. And now Glaive Esports Rose looking to run it down here in towards the mid lane. Flaming Thunder, though, trying to delay the wave and trying to buy time for his squad.
Yeah, Glaive Esports says, no, we're not throwing this game. Kiba specifically says, no, we're not throwing this game. Finds a pick onto the Morgana, and now they're in a position where they can try and end, but really good job by Flaming Thunder there to pull the wave.
Got the one super there, though. Silas going to go right on in. Sharp Circle trying to find the kill on Akiva, but there it is. Flaming Thunder still on the back line, able to find it as he throws a rock to his face. Jaber now here. Mel Scout coming into the fight, but still 1 second on Beastlance. Coming out from the fountain now, trying to save the base here in a desperado attempt. That's going to be the re-engage now. Coming on in, Beastlance kiting around with the Martial Poise, finding some damage on him, shoots, but Issei will be able to get the kill down onto Flaming Thunder. He's ducking, he's dodging. The Rend will be able to find one, but McShoots slapping at the Nexus here. Beastlance does not have the time to be able to get it. The Zenith Blade lands, and Jaber going to go down. Surely the Nexus here. Ace is there, and Glaive Esports rose. It was messy. It was dirty. 32 kills for one side alone. 45 kills in a 25-minute game, but Glaive Esports rose, coming out on top in game number 1.
Yeah, Glaive Esports would just not let up. They were just unrelenting. Kiba going in, ulting on top of people and saying, no, we're not throwing this game. We're fighting. We're going to consistently fight. We're never going to lose. And eventually it pays off.
Well, as I take a big, deep breath there, a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, a lot of shouting. We're going to throw it on over to the analyst desk for them to break down game number 1 of Glaive Esports Rose going up against the AOE God Squad that just came off a really hot victory against Meme City. But right now, I mean, Glaive Esports Rose looking like probably one of the best teams. Let's hear it from Mac Dewey and Gungeon on our analyst desk. Boys, take it away.